Hi, Gary Chillingworth here for Airgun World Magazine, Shooting Country TV. Welcome to Life at the Range. It's 2025 and what a wonderful year we've got ahead of us. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to see exactly how accurate a TX200, or to be more precise, my TX200 is at 20, 30, 40 on 45 yards. And at the same time, we're going to answer a few questions from the old interweb. So with that in mind, less yakking, more shooting, and we'll get on with a few questions. So let's get the old rifle out and let's see how we go. Now, that's a question I actually got asked the other day. Carrying the gun by the scope. Now, within the rules, you're not allowed to carry the gun by the scope. They don't want people walking around the course using the scope as a carry handle. But a lot of shooters, including me, we lift the guns in and out of the bag via the scope or the scope mounts. And I don't know if that's technically against the rules, but it's the sort of thing that a lot of people do. So our first shots are going to be at 20 yards, and then we're going to get on with some questions. Okay, so we've got our target set out. We've got 3 targets. We've got 1 target with 3 roundels on it, and kindly supplied by Norfolk Targets, also norfolkairguns.com. Okay, this is a TX200 hunter carbine. It's slightly different from your regular hunter carbine. It's got PRS butt pad on the back. It's got 180 grams of weight just there on the front. Hug-It silencer. It's got a hamster made out of a bit of 2x1 and some posts made out of a cut down umbrella, and a Vortex Viper on top. It's also got a cheek piece made out of Kydex, and yeah, it looks horrible, but it's bloody accurate. So let's have a go. We're going to shoot each of the 3 roundels at 20 yards and let's see how we go. Okay, that one is fractionally left of bullseye. Well, there's no wind, so that's clearly me. Okay, let's have a go. Let's have another go. Okay, pretty much the same. So that's telling me that maybe I'm 1 click off. So let's go for our final target, and we'll aim off a little bit. Okay, so it looks like I'm around about a click out, so I need to adjust. Right, so questions. So what we're going to do is on the 30-yard one, we'll do a shot, then a question, then a shot, then a question. Okay, I had an email, fatigue. How does fatigue affect you when you're shooting? Now, this is something that I know a lot about, being a night driver. Also, because of my manky leg, I've been getting very, very tired when I shoot. Fatigue has a massive effect on you. If you're tired, dehydrated, it affects the eyes, it affects the motor function, and just getting up and down, up and down, up and down from a target. You might go into a course feeling relatively okay, but by the time you get to the end of the course, you could be absolutely battered. So make sure you keep yourself hydrated. Make sure you've got a couple of little protein bars in your bag. I don't know if I've got one in here. I usually carry one around. Doesn't look like I do. Probably eaten it, knowing me. But I use, well, got a wrapper. I use like these natural things, peanut and whatever. They're very, very good. And just to help manage fatigue. If you need to step back a set, you know, if you've got 15, 20 targets in and you're breathing really hard and you're getting tired, just speak to your shooting partners, let the group behind you go through. Try not to hold people up, but you need to manage your fatigue. We've got people out there who've got serious health conditions and sometimes they just need to take a break. So fatigue will affect the way you shoot. Try and get a good night's sleep, eat properly, and if you need to take a rest, take a rest. Okay, next question. Is it worth getting your rifle tuned? Well, this rifle is fairly standard. The only thing it's currently got, it's got standard internals, 25mm. It's got the standard Air Arms breech seal. The only thing it does have is TBT spring guide and TBT top hat. That just lightens the internals a bit, so it's not metal flying back and forward. A good quality spring is always important. If you've got a Mark III TX, I would certainly speak to TBT about their short stroke kit, as that can really makes the gun more snappy and a bit faster. But I personally prefer a Mark II feel, because the Mark II had a short stroke. So yeah, is it worth getting your gun tuned? Yes, as long as you trust the person who is tuning it. Just don't get your mate Barry. I mean, look, we all know what I did with an HW98, so don't get me to do it. But if you find a decent tuner, Sandwell, Ratwork, something like that, who actually know what they're doing, it certainly is worth getting your gun tuned, or certainly a spring gun, because, yeah, well, they do. The proof is in the pudding. They less recoil and they just feel nicer. Certainly worth polishing your trigger. That is a huge thing. Learn how to polish your trigger. We did a video on that. That is worth watching if you've got a TX. Last question before we go out to 30 yards. Is it worth getting your gun regulated? Right. Regulating your rifle will not make your rifle more accurate. What it will do is it will give you more shots per fill, and it will give you a more even spread over the fill. So if you've got a gun that should be running between 100 and 180 bar with a regulated rifle, every single one of those shots within that group should be, I know, within 5 or 10 feet per second over the chronograph. If you've got an unregulated rifle, the rifle has a sweet spot. My old S400, one of the best guns I ever owned, has got the knock open valve. And I personally think the knock open valve is one of the best bits of kit out on the market. Now, that would run at 780 feet per second when it was over 120 bar and below 170 bar. If it was outside of those parameters, you would have a you'd get maybe 760, 750, so you're going to get a lower FPS. So if you're going to have an unregulated rifle, first thing you need is a chronograph. Beg, borrow or steal. Don't steal. Beg or borrow or buy. LMBR R2A, my favourite chrono. And just fill it to your 180 bar and start shooting. Write down all of your chrono string, and you will see when the rifle hits its sweet spot. So 170 bar. So you know, fill it to 170, fire 3 shots off the top, so you're well within the range, and then you've got 40 or 50 shots at its peak spread, and you're going to have a good 5-6 foot per second variance. So regulated rifles make your life a bit easier. They do not make your gun more accurate. Out to 30 yards, and then we'll get on with some more questions. Okay, so we've got a target out there, 30 yards. Let's see how we can do. Get out of the way. Okay, fractionally low. I did give the rifle 2 clicks to the right. Okay, question. What style of rifle should I buy? Oh, okay, that's an easy question. Obviously you've got target rifles like the Steyr and the XTI 50 and the Daystate Grand Prix used by Neil Palmer, all brilliant rifles. I always say go for the most adjustable rifle that you can. This started off as a bog standard rifle. I've added the hamster, I've added the cheek piece. You can get a neoprene cheek piece called a bear tooth, which you just attach. I'll put a picture up. And you can get aftermarket hamsters if you want to start adjusting your rifle as you go. But I would always go for something like a HF 500, which has got an adjustable cheek piece and a rail that you can put a hamster on, because the more adjustable it is, the easier it is to fit you, and gun fit is the most important thing. So there are some nice bullpups out there. I like the BRK Ghost. There are obviously many different springers. The Ultimate Springer has got an adjustable cheek piece, but just find something that's adjustable. If it's adjustable, you can make it fit. Right, okay. So that hit a bit low. So let's go to the next one. I think that went fractionally low and left at 30 yards. Okay, what scope? Right, again, that's a really difficult question to ask because it depends what you're going to use it for. If you want a scope where you can dial it in, so you can use the parallax to actually range find like they do in FT, you need something like the big 60mm, the big Nico, the big Sterling Diamond. This is a Vortex Viper. This is like an £800 scope, mainly because I've got severely dodgy eyes. But most people say, I want a scope for hunting, I want a scope for HFT or something like that. There is a case that find a scope that fits your eyes, something that you can see through. When you go to the shop, stick it on 10 mag, look through, look at 8 to 45 yards and see what you can see. I've always been a big fan of the Optisan CP, either the variable mag or the fixed 10, the 32mm. The 40mm pulls in a little bit more light. Hawk do some beautiful scopes. They've got lovely glass. The MTC Connect is really popular. So the most important bit of advice when it comes to buying a scope is, if you can, get to a club and ask people to look through their scopes. Ask people what they think. Because that is the only way you're really going to find one that fits you. The problem with that is scopes, you can adjust them at the ocular end and things like that. So my friend Richard's blind as a bat. I can't look through his scopes because they're just completely blurry. But if you can find someone with similar eyes to you, look through their scopes, see what you like. But yeah, the Optisan CP I like. The new MTC Connect is very nice, and the Hawk HFT 10x42 or 10x44 has got some absolutely beautiful glass. But yeah, and I hate to say it, you get what you pay for. The more money you spend, the better glass you get. Right, last shot. Okay, can't actually see where that hit because it's getting a little dark, but you can probably see it better than me. So let's move out to 40 yards and we'll answer our next question. Big question I often get is, why am I inconsistent? Now the question is, why am I inconsistent, or are you, the viewer, inconsistent? Actually, I just want to put a pellet down just to see if I can see. Yeah, that's it. Consistency is the bane of everybody's life. Certainly if you're shooting a spring gun, moisture can affect the seals, the molly that you've got inside the gun. It can make the gun swell. Hot temperature, if you're shooting a PCP, hot temperature can make the guns run faster. Cold temperature can make them run slower. Spring guns is the opposite round. In the cold they run faster, in the hot they run slower because things swell. But consistency is really down to the shooter. I had a really bad shoot on Sunday, one of the worst shoots I've ever had in my career. I scored a 41 out of 60, which is shocking. And I was exhausted. I'd been out the day before, I'd done loads of stuff. And when I got to the shoot, I was not in a good mental space. And I just shot really, really badly. And it really is, human factors are the big thing that affect the way a shooter shoots. So consistency, if you can prove your gun is good and it's not messing around, it has to come down to your mental state. You know, what have you done that's changed? What are you doing differently? And that's why I'm a big proponent of writing down when things are going wrong. Make a note of what's going on, because that's the only way you'll identify different issues. Okay, so first target, top left, 40 yards. It's getting quite dark now. Okay, I can't physically see where that is hitting. So what I'm going to do is I put a little pellet mark down there before. I'm just going to shoot at that and just to see if I'm off. Okay, so did that go, this is the problem, did that go high and right or did that go low and left? So I'm going to put another one through. Let's have a look. There's no wind out here today. Okay, so that's hitting high. Okay, so it's hitting high at 40 yards. Might start to explain why I didn't have a particularly good day on Sunday. I had a lot of my shots hit high. One target I shot it at 35 yards and the pellet went straight over the top. Alright, so right hand target, going to aim fractionally low. Okay, well that one did go low and left, so I think that's showing that I'm sucking. All right, sorry, next question. FT, HFT or bench rest? Oh my good God. All of the above. What's your local club? If I lived in Ipswich, I can guarantee you I'd be an FT shooter, because they've got Iceni Marksman there. Which is an absolutely superb club. They're a brilliant bunch of guys. But my local club was an HFT club, so that's what I ended up doing. Find people that you enjoy shooting with. If you're going to be a target shooter, going to a place and being absolutely miserable, you're not going to enjoy it and you're going to give up. So try different clubs in your area and find which fits you. There is, HFT is not better than FT, FT is not better than HFT, they're just different. Bench rest. Bench rest, I don't really do bench rest. I'm meeting up with Jason hopefully in a few weeks and we're going to do our second bench rest video. Huge congratulations to Matthew Gleaves, who's been awarded the British Empire Medal for his services to shooting. Top bloke and very well deserved. But again, find your local club, find the people you like to shoot with, and that's where you need to be. Don't drive 200 miles to an HFT club if you've got a brilliant FT club 5 miles down the road. Well, unless you want to. All right, let's just aim dead on this again. And that one hit dead on. Okay, that's annoying. I think I should. Oh yeah, one question I always get is where do I get these my pellet pouch from? That's from a guy called Rex Bennett. Does a lot of leather work. Behave yourselves. And yes, he does that as well. I'll put a thing in the description below, email, and then you can have a chat with him. I'm going to fire 3 or more shots at that the bottom roundel, and let's just see how the gun is. Actually, tell you what I'll do. I'm going to put a marker on the white to the right. There we go. That's easier to see. We'll put 3 shots on top of that. 1, 2, and 3. 40 yards. Let's see how Gary sucks. Oh, I'll take that through the same hole. So clearly it's not the gun, it's clearly the idiot behind the trigger. Let's face it, we've always known that. Oh. Oh, pulled that fractionally left, but there's still only a pellet left at 40 yards. So I'll take that with a spring gun. Right. Well, again, it's touching. Let's just have another 2. This is always the way, isn't it? You put in a half decent group, and then you go, I'm going to put another couple in. And you mess it up. Okay, not exactly sure. I think I went through a similar hole. Last shot, and then we'll wrap it up. Mainly because it's getting a little bit dark. The TX200 Hunter carbine. What an amazing bit of kit. It's a spring gun, and he's putting those kind of groups in at 40 yards. Yes, there's not a lot of wind. JSB 452 head sides, 844 Diablos, and that's about it. We are going to do the 100-yard ghost video, I promise. I've been a little bit tired, and it's a lot of walking back and forward and messing around. And basically, my son's home from university next week, so he's going to be my gopher for the day when we do it. So I'm hoping that'll be the next video, or it might be the one after that, but it is coming very, very soon. Again, I'm going to be speaking to Jason. We're going to get this bench rest video done, and thank you all for so much. Oh yeah, last question. Somebody said, what kind of shoots have we got coming up for 2025? Well, the UK HFT have announced their dates. Misfits, 6th of April, Wormsley, absolutely brilliant. The shooting show, Northern Shooting Show, pulled out, and Wormsley, oh, WOMERSELY, they stepped into the breach, and they're going to be on the 11th of May. There was also another club that offered, and I can't remember their name, but I will put a link to it just here. They offered, and they would have been brilliant as well, and thank you so much. Nomads on the 21st of June, Throckmorton on the 22nd of June, Mad on the 19th and 20th of July, Anson 16th of August, back to Emily Moore on the 17th of August, the World Championships 6th and 7th of September back at Borderswood, Meon at the 25th of October and Bisley on the 26th. Also you've got the Welsh Open 18th of May and the English Open, date to be announced. There's obviously going to also be the Recoiling Championships at Nomads. So they're the big HFT events for 2025 that we're hopefully going to be at. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking part and for all your help and your questions and everything like that. You don't know how much it means, and we'll see you all again on the range very, very soon. Ta-da!